Well, hello, traders and investors. I'm LA Little, and this is your daily NeoTA wrap. We take a look at these markets, doing it from a neoclassical perspective, meaning each day we look at it and say, what happened today? What does it tell us about the coming ones? What clues did the market leave for us to tell us which direction is next? I do a show 4 times a week, Monday through Thursday, broadcast at or before 10 o'clock Eastern Time, archived on YouTube. It's under the channel LA Little. If you like what I do, tell a friend, tell two, and I'll see what I can do to help you. As far as what happened today, it really was a dead day. There was nothing going on today. So, if you look at this market and you look at what took place, it was nothing, right? Absolutely nothing happened out here. Just go down the list. There's no movement in the markets. I'm going to start here with these. You had half the world closed. So, for example, this is for the DAX. Back on Thursday, they were off today. All of Europe was pretty much closed. Half of Asia closed as well. So it was up to our markets on their own. They didn't do anything. They just wallowed around, did nothing. It would be a misjustice for me to come out here and say something happened today because nothing really did happen. Let's look at what little we can. We'll start with the S&P 500. You got a little. Well, let's go back to what has happened to get here in terms of a daily chart. Now, I looked at the weekly chart last night, and I told you that probably what you're going to see is this market go sideways to lower at best this week. If we go back to the big bar up, quad witching, right? That was this bar here. We get over it, under it, a little bit lighter volume, right? That was the suggestion that we're going to try to trade sideways to down, right? The next bar, we do a doji. Then we actually get the down move on the very next bar, right? And then we get a little follow through, and then this bar actually comes into this large bar here, bounces back up, does a hammer reversal. Now, the very next day, which is today, you get absolutely no volume, right? There's nothing happening today. And you do another little doji. Now, that doji could just be another little ABCD structure to the downside. But it's about as minimum as you can get, because if you do this ABCD structure and do the numbers on it, it's almost nothing, right? You got a little A to B here, potentially a B to C right above it here, if this turns out to be the C point, right? And then that would give you another little ABCD down. If I can actually draw it in here, and let's see if we can get it in. So that's looks like about 50 points. That would probably get you down into a little bit above that, somewhere in here. So that would be back into this bar, back into the bottom of that bar. That would be the structure to get a little bit lower if this turns out to be the high today. Doji could do anything. It doesn't really tell me a lot. All I know is that we had a hammer reversal. We did hold. It's okay. It's nothing special. If we look at the NASDAQ looks a little bit different. You don't really have the doji. You go above, you go under, a little bit less volume. This looks like it wants to trade a little bit lower. NDX also looks the same way. And then finally, if we go over the Russell actually held up a little bit better and ended up with a doji as well. So I don't see anything on these charts today. It was dead. You don't want to try to read something in when there's nothing there. And honestly, there was really nothing there. I looked at what little world markets were open today. Nothing over there. I looked at the major sectors. Absolutely nothing there either. And finally, I went over to currencies to see if there was any movement in currencies, because sometimes you'll get some movement there, and you really didn't have much in the currencies either. So if I bring up I want to show you the dollar though. If I bring up the dollar here, there we go. The dollar actually came down, but it came down into this bar, had less volume. That looks like the dollar is going to try to bounce tomorrow. It didn't really help the commodities that much today, but it comes into that bar, right? Can't get into it, flips around, no volume. Of course, there was no volume today. We'll see if that bounces tomorrow. Now, the dollar could be setting up a larger ABCD structure to the top side, right, if in fact this is happening. But I think it's a little early to make that assumption, right, if we do this. We'll have to see how it trades tomorrow. You've got not much else to talk about tonight, so it really comes down to tomorrow, how this week gets going. Your end of the week, you got a lot of data this week. You got a lot of Fed speakers again this week. We'll see if any of that matters, or if we're just going to slowly try to hang here and hold the gains on this big month up. So that's it for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow night. We'll see how it really trades as the trading gets back underway. Good night.